Scientists thought they had Spinosaurus figured out. For years, this massive predator was painted as the ultimate aquatic hunter, a crocodile-scale giant that ruled ancient rivers with ease. But then came 2024 and everything changed. Research challenging the statistical methods of earlier bone density studies revealed something unsettling. This supposed river monster might have been too buoyant to dive effectively, potentially spending more time at the surface than previously thought. The very adaptations that made Spinosaurus unique may have been its greatest weakness, raising questions about whether this ancient predator was truly the underwater master scientists once believed. The story of how we got here spans a decade of dramatic reversals. The year 2014 brought what paleontologists believed was the final word on Spinosaurus. A team led by Nizar Ibrahim published groundbreaking research in Science magazine revealing details from a remarkably complete specimen recovered from North Africa's Kem beds. Their findings challenged decades of assumptions about how large theropod dinosaurs lived and moved. The specimen catalogued as FSACKK 1188 suggested something unprecedented. This massive predator had abandoned the typical bipedal stance of meat-eating dinosaurs in favor of walking on all fours. The evidence seemed compelling. Spinosaurus possessed dense limb bones similar to those found in modern diving animals like penguins and manatees. These heavy bones would have acted as ballast, helping the animal sink beneath the water's surface rather than floating helplessly. The hip structure and shortened hind limbs further supported this aquatic lifestyle, suggesting that Spinosaurus used all four limbs for locomotion rather than relying solely on its legs like other theropods. Ibrahim's team initially reconstructed Spinosaurus as spending most of its time submerged in ancient North African river systems, moving quadrupedally on land. The animal's muscular legs and potentially webbed feet would have powered it through the water as it pursued fish with its elongated crocodile-like snout. The dense bones appeared to provide the underwater stability necessary for sustained aquatic hunting, while the flexible spine allowed for the undulating movements typical of swimming predators. However, later research would reveal that these same researchers eventually corrected their calculations, concluding that Spinosaurus was actually a graviportal biped rather than an obligate quadruped. But paleontology rarely provides simple answers. Donald Henderson's 2018 computer modeling studies revealed serious flaws in the aquatic interpretation. His calculations showed that Spinosaurus would have been far too buoyant to dive effectively. The massive dorsal sail and overall body proportions created so much drag and instability that the animal would have struggled to maintain underwater pursuit of prey. Rather than diving gracefully like a crocodile, Spinosaurus would have floated awkwardly at the surface, constantly paddling its hind legs just to remain upright. Henderson's analysis forced researchers to confront an uncomfortable truth. Their confident reconstruction might have been fundamentally wrong. The same anatomical features that seemed to support aquatic specialization could just as easily be explained by other factors. The dense bones might simply provide structural support for the animal's weight on shortened limbs rather than indicate diving adaptations at all. Yet Henderson's work preceded discoveries that would add entirely new dimensions to this debate as scientists prepared to examine the most mysterious aspect of Spinosaurus anatomy. The tail structure held the answer to Spinosaurus's locomotion. While scientists debated buoyancy problems and quadrupedal walking, they were missing the most important piece of the puzzle entirely. The 2020 Nature study revealed something extraordinary about Spinosaurus that no one had seen before: a complete tail structure that fundamentally altered every previous reconstruction. Nizar Ibrahim and his team had uncovered a nearly intact tail that looked unlike anything found in other theropod dinosaurs. The elongated neural spines and deep chevrons created a massive, flexible paddle-like structure that extended far beyond what researchers had previously imagined possible for a dinosaur. This discovery demanded immediate testing. The team constructed robotic versions of the Spinosaurus tail and compared its performance to simulated tails of other dinosaurs and modern semi-aquatic animals like crocodiles. The results were revealing the robotic Spinosaurus tail significantly outperformed the tails of terrestrial theropods when moved through water, though it remained about 1.5 times less efficient than crocodiles. Even crocodiles themselves are considered poor swimmers compared to truly aquatic animals, highlighting the limitations of the swimming hypothesis. The tail's design functioned as a biological propulsion engine capable of producing forward momentum through lateral undulation, but with clear constraints. The tail's flexibility proved equally important. Unlike the rigid tails of most theropods, this appendage could execute a wide range of motions, including powerful sideways sweeping movements that maximized water displacement. The surface area created by the elongated spines provided an ideal paddle configuration for aquatic locomotion, suggesting swimming capabilities rather than passive floating or simple wading. However, critics immediately challenged these findings. David Hone and Thomas Holtz published a swift response in 2021, arguing that while the tail evidence was compelling, the animal's overall body plan still presented serious problems for sustained underwater pursuit. They specifically proposed a wading model similar to herons rather than underwater pursuit, pointing out that the massive dorsal sail and the animal's center of mass would create drag and instability during swimming. The ventrally positioned nostrils would require lifting the entire head above water to breathe, contradicting models of active underwater hunting. Every aspect of Spinosaurus's anatomy tells the story of an animal pushed to evolutionary extremes by its environment. The crocodile-like snout represented a precision-engineered fish catching apparatus that went far beyond superficial similarity to modern crocodilians. This remarkably long, low and narrow skull stretched over 5 feet in length, creating an elongated platform optimized for striking at aquatic prey with lightning speed and accuracy. Conical teeth lined these elongated jaws, each one perfectly shaped for gripping slippery fish, rather than the bone-crushing work performed by other large theropods. Unlike the serrated blade-like teeth of tyrannosaurs, Spinosaurus teeth were straight, unserrated, and built for holding on to struggling prey that might otherwise slip away. The nostril placement was retracted posteriorly along the skull, though not positioned dorsally like truly aquatic animals, meaning the animal would still need to lift substantial portions of its head above water to breathe during hunting sessions. Dense limb bones provided crucial ballast through a condition called osteosclerosis, the same adaptation seen in modern diving animals like penguins and manatees. This increased bone density helped counteract the buoyancy created by the massive dorsal sail and air-filled body cavity, giving Spinosaurus better control over its position in the water column during hunting activities. These extreme specializations came with serious trade-offs that made Spinosaurus vulnerable in ways that generalist predators were not. The elongated skull, while perfect for catching fish, was considerably more fragile compared to the bone-crushing jaws of tyrannosaurs. This anatomical limitation restricted prey options to soft-bodied fish and small aquatic animals, eliminating the dietary flexibility that allowed other large predators to survive environmental changes. The proportionally shortened hind limbs, while still considerable in absolute size, created challenges for terrestrial movement and forced the animal into a grave-portal bipedal gait when moving on land. This elephant-like walking style was energy-intensive, though the limb length did allow the animal to stand in relatively deep water while keeping its head above the surface. Some researchers argue these features are consistent with a wading lifestyle rather than representing fundamental flaws in aquatic adaptation. The wading bird model offers a compelling alternative interpretation of how this massive predator actually lived. Multiple researchers have supported this ecological approach over many years, with Paul Sereno and his colleagues providing crucial corrections to locomotion interpretations and challenging bone density methodologies between 2022 and 2024. Rather than an underwater pursuit predator, Spinosaurus likely waded through shallow waters like a massive heron, using its long neck and specialized jaws to snatch fish from the surface. The skull shape, with nostrils positioned far back on the head, was perfectly suited to a shoreline stand and weight feeding strategy. The neck structure supported this wading model through strong ventriflexion, which would have aided in striking at prey with lightning-fast movements. The long neck and flexible tail would have been essential for quick reactions needed to catch agile fish. Isotopic analysis of teeth revealed a diet heavily dependent on fish, but the feeding patterns suggested surface or near-surface hunting rather than deep diving. The conical teeth and crocodile-like snout were perfectly designed for grasping slippery prey at the water's surface, not for sustained underwater pursuit. The animal's massive size, larger even than Tyrannosaurus rex, would have allowed it to wade into deeper waters than any modern bird while maintaining stability. Sereno believed that Spinosaurus could wade into waterways more than 6 feet deep without floating, where it could ambush fish with its claws and jaws while keeping its toes firmly anchored in the mud. This interpretation reflects how the animal could use its dense bones for stability rather than diving capabilities. The methodology debate intensified when Nathan Myhrvold and Sereno challenged previous statistical approaches in their 2024 PLIS 1 paper, arguing that the phylogenetic flexible discriminant analysis method used in bone density studies was fundamentally flawed and did not meet necessary statistical prerequisites, rather than conducting new bone density measurements themselves. Such extreme adaptation carried hidden dangers that would eventually threaten the animal's survival. During the mid-Cretaceous period, around 100 million years ago, North Africa resembled a tropical paradise filled with interconnected river systems, swamps, and shallow coastal environments. The Kem beds of Morocco, where many Spinosaurus fossils have been discovered, preserve evidence of this lush landscape that teemed with fish and other aquatic prey. Spinosaurus had evolved to exploit this specific environment so thoroughly that it became completely dependent on stable aquatic ecosystems for survival. Every aspect of its anatomy reflected millions of years of fine-tuning for life in these ancient river systems. The paddle-like tail generated thrust for aquatic locomotion. The crocodile-like snout captured slippery fish with precision, and the dense bones provided ballast control in water. These adaptations created the perfect river predator, but they also created a dangerous dependency. The risks of such specialization become apparent when considering how environmental changes might affect highly adapted species. While we cannot definitively link specific climate shifts to Spinosaurus extinction, the fossil record suggests that specialized predators face greater vulnerability during environmental transitions than their generalist counterparts. The same anatomical features that made Spinosaurus supreme in aquatic environments could potentially become serious liabilities if conditions changed. Its elongated, fragile skull couldn't crush bones like other theropods. Its shortened legs made terrestrial hunting less efficient. Its massive sail created drag and visibility challenges on land. The Spinosaurus saga reveals how even our most confident scientific conclusions can be overturned by new evidence, reminding us that the ancient world still holds countless mysteries waiting to be discovered. From underwater pursuit predator to wading bird, each interpretation reflects the challenges of reconstructing extinct animal behavior from fragmentary fossil records where crucial evidence may be missing or misinterpreted. This ongoing debate demonstrates the dynamic nature of paleontology, where each new fossil can reshape our understanding of how life on Earth has evolved and adapted over millions of years. As researchers continue to uncover new evidence, Spinosaurus remains a powerful symbol of evolutionary innovation and the complex challenges faced by highly specialized organisms in Earth's ever-changing environments.